Hello and welcome everybody to a new TOME RPG news update. We appreciate your patience over these last 3 months while we've continued to work diligently on the Terrain of Magical Expertise video game project. And we've got a lot to share, so let's not waste any time and hop right into it. First, all sound effects have been 100% integrated for the overworld, the menus, and the hundreds of enemies to be battled against. This was a long, ongoing task that the whole team collaborated on, but after a whole year of the sound effects being designed, they've all been put to good use. On the note of audio integration, we've also added not only a few extra music tracks to the OST, but a few new fully animated cutscenes that they're going to be used during. We can't go into too much detail, obviously, since they're kind of spoilery, but one we can share some info on is a short intro sequence from the player's perspective when you begin a new file. Speaking of the player, do you like these perfect segues? We've recently added a nice handful of new abilities to the White Hat Hacker. Some of you might have seen the animation livestream process with one of our guest character designers, Andy, where we created a summoning technique for our favorite tutorial-giving chicken, Suntory. But while this move will be an option given by defeating one of the dojo masters, we've also added several new hacking powers that White Hat can access at any time, such as being able to change the elemental power of your party's strike attacks, switching the stats of your physical and magical attack and defense, and more. These techniques will be unlocked during certain moments of each chapter, of which you'll definitely be made aware of as you progress through the story. Oh, and one other thing. All of your party members can access an additional ability in their strategize menu called Scan. This is actually something we've wanted to add since the beginning and only just recently had time to include. You can use it to investigate some basic info about your enemies in battle, such as their elemental alignments and immunities towards certain status ailments. It doesn't take up your actual turn to use, but it still eats up your turn's time limit, so be quick with your usage of it. Changing gears completely, here's a cool milestone for you. We now officially have all of the game's different endings working. Again, being careful not to spoil things here, we'll share that there are 3 different ones: the bad ending, the good ending, and the true ending, which has an expansion to it, the secret ending. We'll leave that up to you to figure out how to unlock it. Okay, these last few bullet points are some big ones. We mentioned at the end of last year that our entire main quest was completed. Well, in just these last few months, we've managed to finish adding the rest of the side quests we were planning to. This includes some new mini-games, most of which you'll find in the Gold Hat and Casino level, as well as a new rhythm battle, which we'll be going into detail about a little bit later. And some of them will even involve some very special guests from across the internet, popping up in the most unexpected of places. As previously mentioned, we made sure to have at least a couple with each chapter, some of which will involve your friends, many of which will be solo adventures, some you'll only have one shot to do during its respective chapter, and many you'll be able to come back to and try again later. And with that milestone reached, all content of the game has been implemented and completed, so that officially means
we've hit beta!
But I know you all must be wondering, if all the content is complete, doesn't that mean the game itself is done? Well, not quite. But instead of talking about what else we've accomplished, let's change gears a little bit and talk about what's left to finish, stamping out any and all remaining bugs, of which our team is continuing to work on every weekend. Continued beta testing and rebalancing of enemy stats, of which we now have a dedicated QA team to assist us on. Localization into Russian and Chinese languages, of which we are implementing new systems to switch to these 2 currently planned languages, and have professional translators that will soon be working on the finalized script. Voiceover recording, which we can now finally confirm is underway, and we'll be giving you some more announcements about in the very near future. And finally, implementing the final build for eventual PC release to Steam. The help we're being provided in order to finish these last few tasks is thanks to our new publisher, which we'll be revealing in the coming months. With their support, we'll be able to bring the 4-year journey of the TOME RPG's development to a close when we release the finished game later this year in fall of 2021. We don't have a definitive release date just yet, but expect one sooner rather than later, perhaps alongside maybe a new trailer. Oh, and before we go, we've got one other fun little surprise to share with you all.
It's Smooch!
We'd like to introduce you to a new character, the heavy metal cyborg, Smooch. He'll be appearing during a side quest towards the last half of the game, where you'll be able to take him on in an epic rhythm battle like no other. Set to a song performed by the one and only Jameson Bose, who anime fans will recognize as the death metal vocalist for the English dub of Agretzko. Please do yourself a huge favor and check out Jameson's original music at epsilonzero.bandcamp.com to hear more of his incredible talent. Also, we'll be releasing Smooch's song, The Last Thing You'll See, live to our Bandcamp page alongside a short little music video next Tuesday, March 30th at tomeseries.bandcamp.com. We hope you enjoy it and look forward to the game's ultimate musical challenge. As always, you can keep an eye out for frequent updates on our Twitter page @TOME RPG and subscribe to this channel for any and all future news videos or live streams. Stay tuned, and very soon we'll see you all on the battle grid.
Don't believe me? This is it.